Hello there, and welcome to another of Andre's Artist Profiles. Now today, I'm going to be profiling the work of Mr. Sylvester Stewart, who's turning 71 years old today. Better known to most of us as Sly Stone. Former San Francisco DJ from the 1960s. Sly and the Family Stone, his group, a biracial group who did the complete unexpected. Women were playing instruments, men were singing and all of that. It was the ultimate of the San Francisco open-minded counterculture, and did it in an extremely soulful and funky way. On the other hand, Sly's life, a pyramid of financial discord and drug abuse, has led him to being something of a invisible man, and has had a very unfortunate history. But I'm not here to celebrate Sly, at present, essentially being written off the map, but his humongous legacy, which should never be ignored. Most people I know and actually love at least some period of Sly and the Family Stone. So, about 7 years ago, I get a box set of Digipack reissues of Sly's album, which included all the original artwork, including his first record, A Whole New Thing, and this is from 1967, I believe. You can see Sly still has his kind of James Brown process he had when he was a radio DJ. There's Larry Graham right in the middle. This album is a Sly Stone you might not be familiar with. It's sort of a mid-60s funk sound. The Sly and the Family Stone were still in a bit of a search for a sound on this album. They were close, but they weren't quite where they needed to be. But, you know, this definite soul rock mix was definitely there, which culminated on Dance to the Music. What do I need to say about this album that hasn't already been said? And the wonderful thing about this is it's actually an album. You know, this is not one of those records where the title song is the only big deal. This has a lot of great songs, actually in a very similar vein to it. And I really instruct a lot of fans of Sly's greatest hits, check out this album. It's a really great dance funk party record. Life is, again, a record in a similar vein, although there's a little bit of a kind of carnivalesque counterculture feel to this album, but some tremendous funkiness here, too, on songs like Milady, which is basically Dance of the Music Part 2. This came out in 1968. Now, the album that really set Sly and the Family Stone on the map as being a big group to contend with was Stand, which came out in 1969. You know, Stand, Sing a Simple Song, Everyday People. I mean, this is when Sly really went for the heavy funk. And I Want to Take You Higher. I mean, this was Sly at his absolute pinnacle. I mean, and actually, the last official album recorded with the original lineup, featuring Larry Graham. It's the Sly Stone that we all know. And there's some other great songs on here, really funky stuff like Sex Machine, Not the James Brown Song, and Somebody's Watching You. And a song which I don't think I can actually mention the name of, the second cut. I think people who know this album all know it. Another wonderful funky blues, just an amazing album. You just need to have this, it's a classic. Okay, another classic here. He had a greatest hits album in 1970, and that included 2 new songs, in Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself, which was a huge funky breakthrough, and a pop hit called Hot Fun in the Summertime. And during that time he was recording this 1971 album, there's a riot going on. This album sounded nothing like Stand or Dance to the Music or anything like that. Sly recorded it more or less solo, more or less abandoned the Family Stone, lost Larry Graham in a drugged-out stupor, but he recorded a unique psychedelic soul masterpiece with songs like Just Like a Baby, and it actually had a hit on it with Family Affair and Running Away, so it was actually very successful. But this album is very dark and very awkward. I think it has a lot more psychedelic rock fans in a way than it does funk, but it's very funky, very much in the Miles Davis mutant funk kind of groove, you could say, this album. For years, this was reissued with that as the cover, for some reason. The next album came in 1972. It was called Fresh. Now, Fresh is actually one of my favorite Sly and the Family Stone albums. And they had a new bassist here. And In Time, If You Want Me to Stay, you know, If It Were Left Up to Me, Babies Making Babies at the end. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Erykah Badu, I love that picture of Sly with the Applejack hat. It's just so Sly of that period. I think Erykah Badu basically based every single bit of music she's ever done on this album. There's a strong Erykah Badu influence that you can hear from this album. You know, just the heavy use of wah-wah, the stripped-down production, yet the slickness of it, just an amazing record. You know, it kind of makes the riot going on sound a little more coherent. One of Sly's best. The next album that came out was called Small Talk. He got married and had a child. Big wedding in Madison Square Garden, 1974. It wasn't to last, but this is the home of Loose Booty, where the whole chant is just the names of two biblical characters. Actually, three. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Kind of symbolic there if you know the Bible. A lot better than I do. This album has some great funk, like the title song, but there's also a lot more orchestration on here. You know, a lot more strings. I think Sly was trying to reach out to a broader audience, and more participation from the Family Stone. I think on this and Fresh, Mary McCreary, who would soon marry Leon Russell, was on this album as well. Sly decided to actually go solo for the next release, and it's called High on You. This is a very funky album. Actually, you know, much more solid, slick funk than even you'd find on Fresh, you know, or whatever, or Riot. I could really sit here telling you highlights from that album, but it's a very thoroughly funky record. But I think it got ignored because Sly was going through some inconsistent personal times. And there's another album after that called Heard You Miss Me, which I don't actually have. Albums from this period of Sly are kind of rare. I got this in Canada, actually, from 1979. Back on the Right Track. I think Sly was trying to get a little more commercial airplay. This is a great album, but a little too similar to I Get High on You or High on You to actually, you know, be much successful. By 1979, the sound of Sly that he had in the early mid-70s was kind of out. He had another album after this called Ain't But the One Way, and a few years ago he had an album where he re-recorded his older songs, but I didn't even bother with that one. So that's what I have for Sly Stone, and I am hoping for a genuine comeback from this guy before he passes away with new music. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if it's even possible, but I'd love to see it. Sly Stone was an absolutely ingenious figure, hugely influential on the funk movement, on its creation as much as James Brown, and on melding it with pop and rock song structures. There should be volumes of books out on this guy. He's like a Hendrix. He's like a James Brown. He's a major innovator. And that's the way I see Sly. So all of you out there, enjoy your music. Happy birthday to Sly and his family. And I'll see you next time.